With load shedding escalating as South Africa enters the summer crop planting season, the current energy crisis may have implications for food security into the coming year unless farmers can put measures in place to mitigate against the effects of load shedding. With me today, Kulani Siweya from Agri SA. Chatting to us about this concern, actually. Kulani, welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
First things first, what is the reason for the current energy crisis?
Yeah, look, I think it's a combination of many factors. On the one hand, we do have an ailing energy infrastructure. This is what we're hearing. We also know of the fact that there's been new power plants and power stations that have been built but have not come online, or even if they do, they still also have been breaking down. And of late, we're also learning that Eskom is running low on diesel, so they're not able to generate power using gas as well. So it's a combination of many factors, but I think the mainstay of the whole conversation is just the ailing power utilities that are not able to keep up with the demand. And Eskom as well is also running quite back, or with a backlog when it comes to maintenance of these particular infrastructure units. So yeah, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm. What sectors are impacted most by this?
I think it's everyone in the economy. If you think about it, it's not just the farming sector, but even when you're driving to work, for example, you're caught into load shedding, whether the traffic lights are not working, so there's a delay in delivery for maybe example for foods or for any other essentials. So generally speaking, it's all of the sectors that are impacted, but obviously it has a different impact on the different sectors differently depending on the reliance on Eskom.
But what is the impact on agriculture, and can you give us some numbers or statistics?
Yeah, look, if we think about it, the agricultural sector is quite energy intensive and irrigation reliant. From the latest statistics that we've seen from the Department of Agriculture, the sector is spending close to 10 billion rand on electricity. Now, this constitutes about 7% on of what they spend on intermediate services and goods and services. But the impact to agriculture is just more than the numbers. It's job losses because farmers are losing out on income when their fruits are not being able to be delivered to the markets on time, or there's bad quality and they're losing out on income. So I think the ripple effect is quite sparse compared to what we may see on paper for the agricultural sector in this regard. Mm-hmm.
What agricultural sectors are most impacted?
Yeah, look, it's everyone, to be quite honest. It's the entire value chain. But I think those that feel it the most would definitely be those that are irrigation reliant, especially if you think about it that if you miss out on an irrigation window, you'll need to make up for that in some other way or form. We're now seeing farmers having to keep the laborers for overtime to work on the times that they've lost out in terms of irrigation. But that's just the one side on the irrigation. But there's also cold storage units that are also breaking down or are not able to keep the food and produce at a good quality and well frozen during this heat and this summer season. So it's the entire value chain. And obviously it has dire repercussions as you go on into the markets, particularly for those farmers that are exporting.
Kulani, let's talk about exports. How does the load shedding affect our exports?
Yeah. So for our export farmers, let's not forget that they have certain requirements and standards that they need to keep for all the markets that we are exporting to. Now, if the produce is not kept at a certain cold temperature that's ideal to keep the fruits longer, we have one of two things happening. Either the fruit gets there and it's already spoiled, or the quality deteriorates, and then there's penalties that the farmers then incur. And this is very detrimental for the sector, or for those particular farmers in themselves, because it's an income issue that they're then going to be facing. And that then undermines the viability of those particular farmers to continue their farming activities, ultimately putting jobs at risk and food security at risk as well if they're not able to export to those particular countries. But also for the country, we're losing out on foreign currency that we're earning in from those particular countries. And finally, maybe to wrap it all up, is that we then lose out on our credibility as being the country that will supply quality food over the long run.
Sure. What is the greatest threat of load shedding to the country?
Sure, business confidence definitely is being hit. We're already seeing it already. So we're not seeing investments coming in. We're not seeing new kind of ideas coming in. And this then stifles on growth. It then speaks to employment on the one hand. It speaks to the viability of many sectors, including the agricultural sector. And the agricultural sector in South Africa is in a very peculiar situation or peculiar position, because those farmers are receiving little to no support from the government, and they still have to produce this food from their own capital with less support. And I mean, I've noted this before when we were speaking earlier on, it's just how resilient and agile our agricultural sector is. But we cannot use that as an excuse going forward to say our farmers are resilient and they're agile. That's no excuse. Government, Eskom, needs to deliver on what they mandated to do primarily.
Well, there might be a light at the end of the tunnel, if I can call it that. Just give us some perspective on the recent announcement that Eskom will approach the market to procure 1,000 megawatts.
Yeah, I'm sorry to dim your light. But unfortunately, as it stands, we still don't have much clarification as to what that entails. We've heard this conversation before. We've seen the president come out, I think, a year ago, lifting up the threshold for self-generation licensing. But there's still red tape that's being attached to that. So we still don't have much indication as to how far or how extensive this whole program will work. How soon will those new power producers be integrated into the grid entirely? So on paper, it may look like there's light at the end of the tunnel, but unfortunately, I think that's still because of the mechanics behind the works. I'm cautiously optimistic about that development. And if I can just maybe add on, we also feel that there's also a lost opportunity from government to involve the agricultural sector based on those particular red tapes. We have seen the lifting of the threshold when it comes to licensing. Our farmers have expressed themselves that they firstly have enough land to set up the power generation units. They've also got private capital, but because of red tape, they're still limited to the amount of electricity they can produce, bring back to the grid, or even bank. And again, in this current climate, you then wonder, how is our government thinking about this?
Well, that's the question. In closing, Kulani, what advice do you have for our farmers? I mean, there are great challenges out there.
Yeah, look, it's a very difficult environment that they're operating in. We are seeing a whole lot of farmers needing to consider alternatives. Many are leaving the grid, despite the challenges that is also attached to that. Some of them are spending even more on diesel, for example, to run their generators for their particular units. So it's a very difficult environment for them. And I understand and sympathize with all of that. But all I can just say is that, look, we just need to keep on pushing. We've proven time and time again that as a sector, we're able to weather the challenges. And without using that as a scapegoat, I think let's maybe give kudos to the farmers who keep producing the food and remain positive in this climate.
And we trust them for that.
Definitely.
Thank you very much. Kulani Siweya from Agri SA.